Hello everyone, this is Kubo and this is my laundry talk. Hello, this show is for my language improvement, nothing else. So I will talk whatever I want to talk, and if you are watching this, I hope you can relate in some ways. So today I'm going to talk about fear for competition. Fear to competition. There you go, learning opportunities. So I gotta find out which is correct grammatically. Anyhow, so the reason why I bring up this today is that I just a month ago I started working for a new job. I started working for bank, and banking industry is something I've never done. Like a fresh to industry, and full of. Still, I have lots of questions about anything. Like I always have questions, or like sometimes, not sometimes. I have questions to procedures, anything. A lot of times, most of times. Anyhow, so the reason why I brought up is I just started a new job, and also just a week ago, new guy also started exact same position as me, and he is not like, he's very nice to me. He genuinely respect everyone around him, and nothing against him, right? But I suddenly started feeling a little bit anxious, or a little bit more. I started caring about my performance more, and I was thinking like, why am I so anxious about this? Why am I so worried about if I'm performing correctly, or I'm learning fast enough or not? And I just came to the conclusion that I probably started worrying about myself because this new guy comes in as new, or the same, as the same at the same role. And now, because the time difference is very minimum, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you can see the difference more apparent way, because it's the exact same role, and you will be able to compare how fast I'm learning and how fast he's learning. So that's where I do think I started worrying about myself. And like I don't think I'm trying to compare myself to him, but I was more worried about, both comparing, all the colleagues comparing myself and him, and that's something I was worried about. And then when I, think about it further, like, why am I so worried about this? And I just realized that I genuinely have fear to those competition. And I will talk about that today. It's, this shooting myself for when I do laundry, it's actually very therapeutic as well. I learn about myself a lot, and even though I'm not talking to anyone specifically, I feel like I'm talking to therapist. At least I don't get any feedback about it, but at least I'm talking it loud, and I also listen to myself afterwards, so it's very therapeutic. Anyhow, yeah, so I just realized that I have genuine fear towards competition, and it's not towards the competitor, it's more about I I'm too proud of myself, or like I care about my reputation too much, so I fear how I'm seen by other people compared to competitor, if that makes any sense. I think it started when first of all, I'm only child, and when I until started going to school, elementary school, I didn't have any competition, and I was first born grandson for both side of grandparents. I just didn't have any competition, and I was always the oldest in the family in terms of the grandchildren or children. And I was like, never questioned about it. Of course, when I was little, like I don't really care about those things. But once I'm exposed to those school world, there's always competition some sort. And when I exposed to those situations, I get sometimes too serious. And when I don't exceed my expectation, I get very frustrated and I get very emotional. And when I was in elementary school student, I don't recognize those connection between my anxiety and school life, or like the competition in the school. So I just genuinely did my best to be the best, but out of not myself, rather than being being the best self, I tried to be the best student in certain groups or certain tiers. And I didn't realize, I just kept going, and when I started junior high, I mean, when you're early teenagers, like you always have some kind of anxiousness, and started recognizing your mental health and like being good or bad. And then at the time, in my head, lots of things going on, so like I didn't necessarily connect to competition at that time. So I was just genuinely thought like, oh, I'm worried about other stuff. I always had some kind of I wasn't out about my sexuality either. So like that's the bigger part than fear to competition. So I just didn't really recognize that. And then I think when I started high school, I was quite tired of being the best of the best in the school, and because I was school president when I was in junior high, and I was trying to do the best thing, and at the same time, so in terms of studying, I was trying to be the best of the best, and I was hustling. But when I it's mixing up. But I'm talking about when I was in junior high. I was also belonged to basketball team or basketball club at the high school. Junior high. And I was horrible at it. I was very bad at it. And at the time, I was so insecure about not being good. But at the end of school, at the end of junior high school, I was more realizing, okay, so I've been doing super best and studying, and it's a lot of work, and then being the best does not necessarily mean everything to me anymore. And on the other hand, being in sports, basketball team, and I was one of the worst in the team, and it was kind of easier in terms of like I didn't have any pressure on the game day. It was just much easier to go around. And that's where my shift happened. So since I started my high school life, I started avoiding those competition moments so that I feel much ease once I not in the competition, especially in me. It doesn't have to be competition like as a official gaming or like official some competition, but in general school life there is always a little bit of, you know, hierarchy, you know, like who's the top, like who's the popular student and popular unpopular student, and those things started like dominating my anxiety, and I was too tired of like doing all this studying and trying to be popular and you know, trying to do some other activities like school counselor, not the council but council, like trying to be student president, blah blah blah. Those things require so much work, and I also, when I'm in the moment trying to be the best or trying to beat other competitors, I get really emotional. I get really I get jealous to other people as well, especially at that time. And I hated myself being that state, like jealous of other people and trying to almost, you know, play dirty as well. And I just hated it. I really hated it. So around that time I stopped, or like I at least started avoiding those competition. I think I was still trying to be good, and I tried to compete in some way, but much less than when I was an junior high or elementary school student. And then when I started university, avoidance became much bigger. And I think I started realizing that when I'm in the mode of competition, the fulfillment is smaller than what I go through emotionally. And you know, competition, love life and competition also connected in myself. So like so at the time I was in love with one person, and the person is very popular. So I tried to be the closest person, closest friend to that person. And all the jealous came up and just tried to be the closest and blah blah blah, and I was like so anxious. I was just anxious all the time, especially when I'm not talking on the text, when I'm not invited to one of those like hangout, like when the person is hanging out with other people, why am I not invited? Like I know it's different friends group, blah blah blah, but still like I was jealous, blah blah blah, and like I went nuts. I went crazy. And after those experiences, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. I hated myself. And now I look back, maybe I just should have I should have stayed crazy and, you know, go through all those shit, but still mature as a human. But once you started avoiding, you just don't know the consequences, so fear only remains, if that makes any sense. So I think that's what happens to me. And all those pressure and fear and avoidance, and I was just so stuffed up when I was in Japan, so I decided to come to Canada. And since I came here, I was like, okay, try not to care about other people, try not to be involved in, or not involved in, but like try not to focus on those competitive moments, and try to be the best self instead of like comparing myself to others or worry about how I'm perceived. in a situation and just be myself, be best myself kind of thing. And that's something I've been working on it, and it had been really great. When I was in the previous career, like a previous job, I was actually only salesperson there, and even though I was like I was clearly doing amazing, I almost double the sales, 1.5 more for profit, and like I was quite happy about my performance. At the same time, I didn't have a lot of anxiety towards competition or anything, because there was no competition other than competitors, like industry competitors, not like sales competitors, like salesperson competitor within the company, if that makes any sense. So now I'm in the bank. Of course, in one branch there is same role. There are people who have same roles as me. It's very natural. But every time I start a new job, there's like seniors who does much better than me, and I don't get bothered by them, because obviously there's time difference, how long they've been working and how long I've been working, and then I can always settle down. Like I don't have to be involved myself in a competition in myself. But now I started new role, and almost the same time the other person started a new job, and he's younger than me, and he is finishing courses faster than me, and like also I guess I'm comparing myself to him, but like I'm just started a little bit anxious about it, and like crap, I'm genuinely scared of falling down to those rapid fall again. So now I have to think about like how I can just get over this situation, right? Okay, so now I have to figure out what I can do towards those fear when my head is taken over by anxiety towards what if I'm slower than him, what if I'm worse performance than other, or specifically that new person, what if this what if comes up, what can I do to it? I don't know, honestly. But at least I realized that like I am scared of those competition, and I think first step is realization, and now I have to find a way to cope. Hopefully it's gonna be soon. And also I'm curious how many there are people who feel this way as well. I mean, I'm sure there is, and I'm curious the ratio, maybe if you are only child, there may be tendency people get scared of competition. Anyhow, that's my life right now. So thank you for watching and have a good weekend. Bye now.